I'm 36 years old and hometown is Nakusa. So when this all started out with the coronavirus all over the place, I was super duper anxious and nervous about getting it, and I was really careful about not going out in public, things like that. Well, unfortunately, my mom was living with us at the time while she was building a home, and she ended up getting it. And then I ended up getting it. My husband and boys did not, fortunately, but my sister that lives in Nakusa also got it. I was out for about 4 to 5 days, super congested, but nothing major, thank goodness. But then like 2 days after I tested positive, I lost my taste and smell. And since November 20th, I have had 0 taste or smell, and it is super frustrating. My mom and sister were very fortunate they did not lose their taste or smell. So I'm hopeful that it will return at some point, but there are days that I'm super depressed and down about it. And we're a family that likes to go out to eat, and my husband loves to cook, and it's not even enjoyable for me anymore. And it's hard. I mean, my family's super supportive, but I think it's hard for them to understand how much it is affecting me emotionally and mentally. I did go to an ENT finally last month, and he tried prednisone for a week and did a CT scan just to make sure everything was looking okay, and everything came back normal. So he said it's just a waiting game, and there's a chance that I may never get my taste or smell back. So that made me cry at my doctor appointment, which is kind of embarrassing, but I pray about it every day that it returns, and I'm just hopeful. Like while I was sick, I wasn't too bad. I mean, I was super congested, like I said, low-grade fever. But then the aftermath of it all is when it's really affected me personally. So I had said loss of taste and smell. And then I also was having heart issues, which I never had before. So I had to go to a cardiologist for that because I was passing out, and I had to wear a heart monitor for a couple days. And it just showed that I had some PVCs after regular heartbeats. So they don't know if it's COVID related or not, but personally I feel like it is because I never had any heart issues before that. So I've seen ENT, cardiologist for heart issues since having it, and then I've had severe hair loss. So I've gone to a dermatologist for that as well. So yeah, it's really affected me after the fact of having COVID.
How have you been coping with that, mental health, depression aspect of it?
Right.
What have you been doing to try to stay strong?
So family has been super supportive because they're just amazing as always. But I exercise every day, and I think that helps a little bit with being depressed about not having it. It's just really hard to go to like cookouts or family functions, like even holidays. Like I've missed every holiday since November, like tasting. I know that sounds super silly, but you don't realize how much you take tasting and smelling for granted. So how I've coped with it, I guess, like I said, just having family support. I am on this Facebook support group, loss of taste and smell from COVID-19. And that's been helpful, but it's helpful, but it's not at the same time because there's people on there that are like 12 to 20 months out without having taste or smell. So in a way it's helpful, but then it's kind of like, oh my gosh, if I last that long. But yeah, July 20th, it will be 8 months without either. So I guess just trying to think of the positives in life, and it could be a lot worse, but yeah. It's very hard for me to eat just because you can't taste anything. And like within the last month, it's called parasomnia, I think is the word, where certain foods that I could eat that had 0 taste horribly, like garbage. So it's just hard to find foods, and the smell of a lot of like the meats and things are just like make me nauseated. They're just disgusting. So I'd rather maybe go back to not tasting anything at all because it's just hard to find things to enjoy and eat. So yeah, I've definitely lost weight from losing my taste and smell.
Is there anything that you can take as far as eating, drinking that you do enjoy and maybe you don't?
I wouldn't say there's anything that I do enjoy, but I used to be able to eat a lot of fruit, but like within the last month, it tastes horribly. Like I have to spit it out if I try it. I drink a lot of water and baked beans. I know that sounds crazy, but baked beans is something that I can tolerate. But yeah, it's very hard to find anything that I truly like. I did end up getting the vaccine, both doses. After the second dose, I was terribly sick, out for 24 hours on the couch, 104 fever, achy. But I kept telling myself, oh my gosh, like there's a chance I could get my taste and smell back once the vaccines kick in. And never worked. But I am vaccinated, and I truly believe that it's important to get vaccinated. I know one of the questions is any advice for people about the vaccine or COVID, and I get really frustrated when people say, oh, COVID's just like the flu. It's not that big of a deal. But from personal experience, it is not just like the flu, and my story kind of tells that. It was kind of like the flu maybe when I was sick, but the aftermath of it all is definitely more crucial than the typical flu. So get vaccinated if you have not.
So which vaccine did you get?
The Moderna. I got the Moderna, yep. And I know my husband got the Pfizer, and he really didn't have many side effects, but then again, he didn't have COVID. So it's crazy how the virus affects some and doesn't affect any. Like I didn't really isolate myself when I was sick, and was around my 7 and 4-year-old and my husband, and they never got it. So I think we were honestly in shock when my mom ended up testing positive, because she was more careful about not going out anywhere. So we were just in shock, I guess. And we were really concerned since my mom is in her 60s. You've heard all these stories of people having major heart problems or lung problems. And we were just really thankful that she lived through it. And so did my sister and I. I would just say never take smelling and tasting for granted. I know that sounds crazy, but it truly is, like, really does affect a person emotionally and mentally, and enjoy tasting and smelling to everybody that can. So.